In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 188 of the wrasslecast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend, how are you?
I'm doing well.
It's electric in the city.
Listen, they can keep that right on over there, 20 minutes away from me. They're down by 1 point, so they got
Yes,
time. You said they got one period, right? That's what they call
yes,
it in the
yes. We're in
hockey.
the final period here, Game 5 of the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup playoffs. So maybe the
It,
Capitals can lift the DC curse.
listen, if I digress for a moment, there are two things at play, which is why I want them to win tonight. I want them to win tonight because well, it's like three things. I want them to win tonight because I want it to be over tonight. I want them to win tonight because we deserve nice things. I want them to win tonight because they're not in town. And that means they're going to be less crazy than if they were in town. And also, I want them to win tonight because I don't want them to be like the Golden State Warriors that one year when they came out of nowhere and then just embarrassed us. Because DC is very unlucky. You know what I mean?
Shh,
And
don't
so,
even put it
like,
into existence. Stop.
but we're very unlucky. You see who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We don't have good luck. So I just want this in and out, good and done,
All right.
before the tides can turn and we can all be sad.
Great.
We're joined tonight by our Rawcast correspondent, Mr. Samuel Kalunga. What's going on, Sam?
Well, I'll tell you where it's not electric. That was here earlier when the storm. Okay, they promised thunderstorms. We didn't get thunderstorms. We got like a really bad windstorm, and yeah, the power was out for a good 2 hours. The struggle was real when I was at 20%. It was bad.
Oh, man. That's why you always got to keep your power bank handy, man, on hand.
All right, well, you and Mr. Gates can afford those. I can't. You and your good friend Bill Gates.
Thanks to Fox and the good folks at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the one I got for free. I appreciate y'all.
The power
And
bank?
Yes.
also,
You can get a power bank on
you can get one
Amazon.com.
from Amazon.com. Damn it!
Yeah.
You beat me to it.
I beat you there, yeah.
Finish it.
I mean, all you got to do is go to cspn.us, keep our podcast free, hit the link to Amazon, go on there, put in power bank, because that's what I did before I went to Roots Picnic last week. I bought me a nice little power cord, picked it up from an Amazon locker. It was quite nice. You don't even have to put in a code. It's
I
just
saw pictures from that event. It was very.
it was really wonderful until we were caught in a torrential downpour.
Because I wasn't on my Twitters. I had no ideas you was at the Roots Picnic.
Yeah, man.
Jealousy
Why were you
meter.
there?
No, jealousy meter just went up a ton because they're my favorite group and I've never seen them live. And I've
If it
always
makes you feel better, the only
dismissed
person
them.
I saw was Black Dot because they got rained out. We missed 2 Chainz. He was only on stage for like 17 seconds,
Okay.
maybe.
I wasn't, again, I said the Roots are my favorite. So just seeing Black Thought would have made my whole day
Oh
afternoon.
yeah, I saw Black Dot. Black Dot was the one I saw really well because I was right in front of a monitor.
Nice.
So I got about 10, 15 minutes of like him.
Mm-hmm. The main attraction. Nice.
Yeah. So who else did I see? T.I., DJ Drama.
You and T.I. were probably
T.I.'s
like,
gonna be in that. You know T.I.'s gonna be in that Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, because he was in the other Ant-Man.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He was actually good. I mean, he didn't stand out as being like, oh, what are you doing in a Marvel movie?
He's like, hi, I'm T.I. I'm in this movie. Is that one of those?
No, it's just like he
He
played a man of ill repute, which is kind of what he is. So it worked out.
I was like, oh, okay, so not much acting there.
He did good.
And we're also joined by our wrasslecast broadcast journalist, none other than Magnum Prime. What's going on, bud?
I'm just here powered by my hatred of the Warriors and Chick-fil-A. So let's get it going.
You're hatred of Chick-fil-A
or you got hate for Chick-fil-A, or you just running on Chick-fil-A?
I'm running on Chick-fil-A and the hatred of the Warriors right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you hate the Warriors?
Yes.
Oh, how fun for you.
I know, right?
Don't worry. You might be a fan of Houston next year, so things may be different for you.
I won't go that far.
I won't even be a fan of anything Houston. Not even this episode of Raw.
I see how you tie that in. This episode of the WrestleCast is being brought to you by CSPN.us, where you can, of course, go to Amazon.com, get you a power bank. We can also be found, as far as the podcast, on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher Radio. So I've got some news. The jury rules in the favor of CM Punk and Colt Cabana in the defamation lawsuit filed by WWE doctor Chris Amen.
Yay.
So back in 2014, after CM Punk left WWE, of course, he wanted to vent, get his side of the story out, let his frustrations be known. Where else were better to do that than your best friend's podcast? So 3.2 million downloads later, CM Punk told his story. And in the story, he basically said that, the doctor checked him and said he was fine, and he wasn't. And this little irritation on his skin turned into staph infection.
Ugh.
And because, wrestlers, they exaggerate and they, make things bigger than they really are. He said that it was about the size of a baseball when it was finally taken care of, when in actuality, it might have been a little bit smaller than a golf ball. But anyway, the doctor sued because, of course, CM Punk had disparaging things to say about him. And so, the doctor was in WWE, took him to court and held him up in court for 3.5 years. And this week, on Tuesday, basically they got they got cleared. The doctor was basically suing $1 for every download, every listen, basically. That's where they came up with the 3.2 million figure for the lawsuit.
So do you know what the deciding factor was? Like what the judge determined, or the jury determined was like, okay, yeah, no, you're full of crap.
Basically, CM Punk took the stand for himself and told the story. Yeah, basically. And, did what he does, but probably speaking with conviction. Basically, they listened to the whole podcast in the courtroom. And then, the lawyers and went back and forth, basically trying to prove the point that, hey, it wasn't anything worth hurting his character. What has he lost as far as a doctor, I guess, was their biggest claim. He's still employed by the company, blah, 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 blah. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, so good for Colt Cabana. The man he didn't even say nothing bad about the doctor. He just published the podcast. So that allows, all our co-hosts and various people to come on here and slander whoever they want. And we, so far, won't get sued for defamation. So
fingers crossed.
Yes, one time for free speech.
Yay.
Io Shirai from Stardom and Keith Lee are reportedly headed to NXT next month to begin their indoctrination into the WWE system.
So how many people are happy that she got that Playboy off before headed to the E?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
Greg, put your hands down. Greg, why are you holding both hands up?
Better than the alternative.
And of course, Keith Lee, everybody, after WrestleMania, it was reported that he had got signed, but he didn't really have a starting date. So now we have a starting date on Keith Lee. So good things for them. They'll probably wrestle a whole bunch of matches, not on TV to get accustomed to the WWE style. And then maybe around, you guys think, Survivor Series, good time to debut? Because, look how long they had Donovan Dijak on signed, and they just debuted him last week.
I completely forgot he was signed.
Yeah, he just debuted on TV last week.
Wow.
Yep. So, we'll see. But yeah, Io Shirai may be the best women's wrestler in the whole wide world. Like, even better than Asuka.
Yeah, she has a sister that wrestles too, and she's also really good.
Yeah. So Look out for those two newcomers coming to the WWE. So we're going to turn it over to our Rawcast correspondent, Mr. Samuel Kalunga. Take it away.
Yeah, damn, I thought I fired you. All right, so Monday Night Raw from the backwards town in Texas. Houston. The goddamn Drifter opens the show, and I'm really mad, Don, that you made this video ugly because I have a few edits of my own here.
Yeah, well, go ahead, man. Do Samoa Joe. Cut it in your own voice.
The goddamn Drifter opens the show and starts to just throw my
Yo, you are such a hater.
Can't help himself.
Don't be hating on Elias.
He claims to be WWE's most valuable asset and says
I agree.
The IC title at fake news. Hashtag fake news. Says he's winning the IC title the Money in the Bank. Rollins will learn that WWE stands for
Walk with Elias.
You cut that out. Hey, do you want me to do this or you want to? I can leave. He brags about picking out Rollins last week and says he was more hurt than Rollins because he ruined one of his favorite guitars. He will turn that pain into a new song. Image of the attack as the Drifter starts to sing about the man falling down the being Rollins slides in and grabs a chair and enters the ring. They circle. Rollins moves the guitar out of the Drifter's hands, and Ginger and the Heel arrive on the back. Ginger and Elias beat Rollins until the comic says it looks like a moon ring. One ring saves the front weakly. One tries to mop a face and hurt it on the eye. And makes the straight up by 2 minutes. Who do you like to start?
Yeah, Sam, you're muffling up on me, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you sound good right there, though.
Okay, what part did y'all leave off at?
Basically that whole part when you were like,
when you were being evil to Elias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hatred for Elias. Yeah. Pick it up. Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay. So, all right. So,
I mean, we can shorten it. You said hateful things about Elias, and then.
Well, I said that like Don's Comic Sans made it look like it says Ramon Reigns.
He sent it to you in Comic Sans?
Yes.
Comic Sans is the work of the devil.
Right. So Roman fights him off and clears the ring. Kurt Angle arrives and makes a tag team match that starts when? When do y'all think it starts?
Right now.
So the guy Jinder Mahal versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Well, speaking of Jinder Mahal, I was at an Indian restaurant recently. It's called the Maharaja. And I've determined that this is the second place that they may call the Maharaja. But there was a previous Maharaja. You know what that makes this one?
What?
Modern day Maharaja.
Oh, God. He'll be here all week.
Tip your waitress, please.
Your waitress, please.
So anyway, versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Elias rolls up. I'm sorry, the Drifter rolls up Rollins for 2. Rollins hits an enziguri and hits a suicide dive on Mahal, who largely ate the barricade. Singh gets a chair, poor guy. Rollins takes it and chases Singh away, but as Rollins enters the ring, the Drifter hits a DDT onto the chair, hits the Drift away, and picks up the W. Kurt Hawkins is here, sitting at 199 ounces, and has tons of tacos with him at ringside. He promises when he wins tonight, everyone gets a free taco. And his opponent is none other than James Harden. This is not hilarious.
I mean, it's mildly clever, I guess.
Yeah, it's ironic.
Didn't they do the same thing with like Barack Obama or something? Like Barack Obama versus like Hillary or something?
Don't recall, sir.
Yeah, something like this at one point. So anyway, James Harden is out and as his opponent. So Hawkins works over Harden. Hawkins hits a big slam and then misses a charge. Harden fires up, but Hawkins kills him with a lariat. Boring Corbin arrives to ruin things, as usual. Baron gives the jobber the end of days, the DQ. Corbin beats down Hawkins and spills all of his tacos on Hawkins. But of course, fear not, friends. Nothing of value was lost since these are Houston tacos.
That is Samuel Kalunga. Send all your disparaging remarks to him. Everybody in Houston.
Samuel at samuelkalunga.com. That is my email address. I will fight you.
Oh, shit.
Joel Osteen's gonna pray for you, man.
Listen, Sam, ICE is out here. You can't really be doing these kind of things.
What do you say, Sizzle?
I'm just saying. Make sure you keep your papers on. You people are ruthless out here.
Randall pretends to text. What is that? Why? Every time they put the camera on him, he's doing that. He's either on Twitter or texting.
As our friend J to the Max brought up last week on the Ladies Night WrestleCast, shout out to the ladies. He at least can have his phone lit up so it at least appears like he's doing something.
See, Didi, this is just like Daniel Bryan with his in the dark.
Oh yeah.
See, Kurt Angle is texting. What's her name? Asking when he can see the kids.
Oh.
Karen? Her name's Karen.
Karen Jangle. Yeah, she's Karen and Angle. So anyway, Boring Corbin arrives and complains about not getting opportunities. Corbin went to see Stephanie, and she appointed Corbin the new constable of Raw to serve as her checks and balances to Kurt's dumb decisions. So Nia, oh god, this was so stupid. Nia Jax versus Natalya. Ronda Rousey's on commentary.
Being awful.
Making her constipated faces.
Being shit-tastic on the mic.
And Natalya awkwardly tweaks her knee, and Nia Jax hits a Samoan drop for the win. Ronda arrives to check in Natalya, and Rousey gets in Jax's face. It was so funny because Nia was just like doing this whole fake concern. Like either he was fake concern or she's just not a good actress.
I think she's not a good actress.
But yeah, they were basically playing Natty, are you okay? So anyway, that was really dumb. Bobby Roode is interviewed backstage. He's excited about Money in the Bank and says when he wins, it will be
glorious.
Bam.
He's asked about tonight's match with Strowman and puts over Strowman, noting that he'll have to use all of his tricks to survive. So Braun Strowman versus Bobby Roode. Roode grabs a ladder and makes a bridge between the ring barricades. Strowman fires up and chases Roode. Roode slides under the ladder and Strowman smashes the ladder in half with his bare hands. Somebody on Twitter said that it was like he was throwing down the last spade.
Basically.
Roode begs off and runs. Strowman catches Roode and slams him to the barricade. Back in, and Strowman hits the power slam for the win. Let's see.
If you're on Twitter on Monday night, use the hashtag wrasslecast to share your commentary with color.
Yeah. Some really funny stuff happening on. Like when I started the hashtag Natty, are you okay? And I also said I've seen better acting on the Marine 5. It's true.
Was somebody like mad at you? Like, how dare you?
Right. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did applaud Kevin Owens for watching TV the way normal human beings are supposed to.
That's an upgrade. They've been listening to you.
Kevin Owens is interviewed and says that Braun is big, Roode has a robe, and the sky is blue. He doesn't care about anyone else in Money in the Bank. Everyone loves Balor and wants to be in his club. And he's like, well, what does Too Sweet mean anyway? He will win Money in the Bank, and tonight will show that Balor is nothing more than a myth. Natalya ices down her knee, and Ronda is there to check on to tend to her. Nia arrives and apologizes to her. Ronda gets confrontational and claims she's friends with Natalya. Natalya tells him to stop arguing and limps away on crutches. Nia and Ronda awkwardly look on. How bad is this match going to be?
Oh, very.
It's going to be shenanigans, so it'll get it. It'll make up for it. The angle they'll cut will make up for how bad of a match it'll be. And
I remember when they were backstage, they were showing like Natty helping. Natty was like supposedly helping her with punches, and I was like, where was she when you were taking those L's? Okay, so Raw Tag Team Champions Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt arrive. Renee asked them about the Tag Team Battle Royal to crown new contenders. Wyatt said any team that faces him will be facing Woken Warriors, Fireflies, and Gods. Matt says they are unstoppable and have woken the WWE Universe. Matt asks if Renee considers herself woken, and she says yes. Matt says that's wonderful and claps for her. Wyatt says no matter who wins, they will suffer and then they will be deleted.
Until Renee wears a Black Lives Matter shirt, I won't believe that she's woken.
Right.
This is like got nothing to it, man. I'm like waiting for Bray Wyatt to do something, turn on him or something.
We're just waiting for him to turn.
Yeah.
Right.
I was putting
like lose the titles or something. They're not doing anything cool with it. Like, so they did their one little, compound match and that's it.
In order to turn, will he need to go back into the lake of reincarnation again?
Maybe. I don't know how they'll get there though.
They'll have a big tag team match against like somebody. I don't know. All right, number one contenders tag team battle royal: Axel and Dallas, Fandango and Breeze, Ziggler and McIntyre, Dash and Dawson, Apollo and Titus, Slater and Rhino, Connor and Victor are the participants. The Revival takes control, but Rhino eliminates them. It's down to Slater and Rhino versus the B team. Is that what they're calling them now?
Yeah.
That's great. They brawl. Axel cuts off Rhino and Slater, makes the comeback, but Slater ends up eliminating Rhino, and the B team wins.
At SmackDown, there was a guy with his own hand-drawn B team shirt. In Raleigh, it was cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only way you can pull it off though, is if it's hand-drawn, like with like a Sharpie.
Mm-hmm.
So Lashley tells Sammy if he has anything to say, come to the ring and say it to his face.
Boom.
And Don, you wrote here, Lashley is dressed like he's headed to a really important. It really does. I was trying to pinpoint what it looks like, and you nailed it right on the head. It looks like he's on his way to a really important family barbecue. Sammy's music hits, but no Sammy. Sammy appears in the crowd and taunts Lashley. He refuses to come to the ring since Lashley tried to break his hand last week. Sammy says he's brilliant and he's been scouting Lashley using Instagram. So he went deep into the 46 weeks or whatever, trying hard not to hit that like button. Right? Yeah, you know that struggle, don't you?
No, I'm really okay with you knowing about my thirst. I don't care.
Yeah. So it's the other way. Everybody's looking 46 weeks deep in the year. So
maybe.
So anyway, Sammy then says he logged into one of his burner/anonymous Instagram accounts and DM'd Lashley. Oh, and he's up in the DMs. And in the DMs. And Lashley sent him a link to the VIP Lashley fan club. Lashley says Sammy should face him in the ring, but Sammy calls Bobby a liar. That is his real name. Lashley's offended that Sammy's attacking his reputation. And Sammy says everything about him is a lie. Sammy then asked if Lashley was really in the army. This angered Lashley. I heard a lot of people were actually mad about that. But the crowd booed. The crowd booed.
Of course, they're in Houston.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn, good on you, buddy, for trying. But golly, what's your quote, Dee Dee's your name about Bobby Lashley?
He's never gonna get over on personality.
Where are his eyebrows?
With the rest of his personality, and with it's probably with Baron Corbin's hairline. It's just out there somewhere.
So Jinder Mahal is interviewed backstage. He calls Reigns a jealous and bitter man and claims superiority over Reigns. Mahal says the winds are changing in his favor. Renee interviews Reigns. Elsewhere in the arena, Reigns says that he's the man and Mahal wants everything handed to him. They complain back and forth, and Reigns promises to go and find him. Reigns finds Jinder and they brawl.
On the coolness scale, Braun breaking a ladder with his bare hands versus Roman searching down Jinder 2 corners away and beating his ass. Who wins?
I say, yeah. Because I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was just going to push the ladder and like kind of catch Bobby in the neck. But the fact that he like Hulk smashed the damn ladder, goals.
Yeah, and that's the reason one guy is a fan favorite and the other guy gets cheered by all the girls and booed by all the guys.
Alrighty, so here it's a ladies' match: Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon versus Ruby
Did you call
Riott.
her that lady?
What?
Did you call her that lady?
Which one?
No, is that what you said?
No,
That
I said
lady.
here's the ladies' match.
Oh, the ladies' match. I thought you said that lady. I was like,
That
damn,
lady.
that's me.
No, Ronda was already out there.
Okay.
Okay, so in Ember Moon versus Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. So Bliss tags out after faking an injury. So why was she in this match in the first place? Did I miss something?
The reason why she was in the match was
because of the
to
Riot
have
Squad?
that. No, was to make the ending happen. That's all.
Oh, okay. So they didn't actually build this up any.
They worked it backwards. They knew that they were going to end the way they ended, so yeah.
Edie giving us booking 101 stuff. I hear you, girl.
Well
know the girl. Yes.
Over here, Kevin Nashing it.
I've been learning things. I've been around y'all.
I respect you, Booker Land. So Bliss tags out after faking an injury, and she heads to the back. Liv drunk kicks Banks for 2. Banks dumps Liv and hits Meteora on. Isn't that the name of a Linkin Park album?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Sure.
I only know this because I had a roommate who was really into it.
A roommate.
It's a very good Linkin Park album.
Really? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He used to play it all the time. I used to get away. He used to drive me crazy.
Sam didn't like something. Hold the phone.
Hey,
what?
You watch your language, okay? So anyway, she hits Meteora on Ruby and Logan. Bayley now arrives and gets the hot tag. Bayley, yeah, this was weird. Like, she wasn't even in the match. How? What?
Continue. Just continue.
Oh no, I watched it. It was stupid, but so Bayley runs wild, like she's a warrior. Bayley runs wild, and the Bayley finishes it. Baron Corbin is upset with Angle about this development. He tells Angle to tell Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon that the win doesn't count, or he'll tell Stephanie on him. Okay, so Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon celebrate and mock Bliss for faking an injury. Moon says Bayley saved them, and Banks makes nice with her. Moon tells them to hug it out, and Angle arrives and tells them that the win doesn't count and awards the Riot Squad the match. Banks walks away, upset with Bayley.
So here's my thing. There's no team belt, so who cares if they lost? Right. What is the consequence to them losing?
Like, they're not taking huge leaps here. They're just like taking like child baby steps or something.
It's stupid, and they need tab belts.
So Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens. Balor heads up top, but Owens crotches him. Owens now gets Finn in the tree of woe and lays the boots to him, and then gets DQ'd for kicking too much. My favorite reason for anyone to be disqualified: kicking too much ass. Let's see here. Owens then hits the frog splash to lay out Balor. Owens brings in a ladder, climbs, and teases a frog splash off the ladder, but gets scared, and that allows Balor to make the attack. And Finn climbs the ladder and hits the double stomp off the... Oh, God. And then hits the double... It just makes me cringe every time he does that move, especially off the ladder. So Balor then climbs and grabs the briefcase. And that is your Monday Night Raw.
Oh, this wasn't good. This wasn't good at all.
3 hours of shit you wish you hadn't watched.
Yeah, this wasn't that good. It had like 4 moments that were pretty good. Other than that, ugh.
Waste of time.
I couldn't even finish it. It was just like, well, I never can, but this especially, I was just like, my God.
So, I mean, let's talk about it right quick before we get into SmackDown. Main roster has really gone to shit since they came back from Saudi Arabia. I mean, Backlash was terrible. Most of these Raws and some of these SmackDowns haven't really been that good. What's going on? Is it just us like malaise in between WrestleMania to SummerSlam, or is it just?
Usually the post-Mania malaise or whatever, the lethargicness, it kind of goes away. It should be gone by now. Because around April, May, that's when they kind of like just go through the motions. But yeah, by now they should have picked up already.
Yeah, maybe it's just like spring this year, slow to get here.
Right.
So, yeah, just been, NXT. It's just been more consistent and been a lot better here in the past few months. And it's been like, man, thank goodness I watched this show, so I have something positive to talk about when it comes to wrestling.
Craig, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are coasting because that big $1 billion check is about to clear the next couple of months. So it's like, screw it. We'll be okay.
This year, have they? Okay.
I hope not, man. If that's the case, then like somebody needs to come on the horizon and offer some type of competition to at least make them do something a little bit different. If that's the case, I don't want them to just coast along just because we got all this money now. We don't have to worry about selling no merch or making anybody a big name or anything because
that's kind
we
of
got $1 billion.
So like, okay, like we were talking about this earlier, like on the pre-show, well, we were mentioning how like WF was like in that war with WCW. Once they knew WCW wasn't going to come back from anything, maybe late '99 or so, that show turned to garbage, and like WrestleMania 2000, garbage.
Oh yeah.
Only because they knew WCW was pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were just coasting until they could make that acquisition.
Yeah, so I hope that doesn't repeat itself, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
All right.
So, how many sour patches before you go?
Make it 5.
All right.
All right, folks. I will see y'all next week, and y'all behave, especially you, Dee.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, fine. As long as I'm not here to witness. Right. Bye, y'all.
Later.
Bye.
All right, Miss Dee Jonet, we're gonna turn it over to you for our SmackDown Matters report.
Oh sure. Okay, they're in Corpus Christi, Texas. Carmella arrives and plans to unmask Asuka. Asuka doesn't wear a mask, so they don't mean it in the lucha way. They mean it in the way that we don't know who she really is. So they run a video package of the Asuka we know. Carmella then says Asuka used to be incredible and unveils the real Asuka, which of course features Asuka losing at WrestleMania and losing in a tag match on SmackDown. Carmella says Asuka's confidence was shattered at Mania and she doesn't fear Asuka because she's money. Asuka was undefeated, but now everyone is ready for Asuka. Asuka arrives, but before anything can happen, Mandy Rose of the softcore porn entrance and Sonya Deville of the maybe Nazi girlfriend arrive. Mandy runs down Asuka and says she was a second away from beating Asuka and wants her again tonight. Deville then says that she wants Asuka. Carmella tries to stir the pot and says she should face them both. Paige arrives and she says no one speaks for her and she makes the matches. And then Paige gives Asuka the choice of opponent and Asuka, bad bitch extraordinaire, says both. So we have Asuka versus Mandy and Sonya and it starts now. Asuka and Sonya both hit kicks, and that leads to a double down. They make it to their feet, and Asuka hits a knee strike, but Deville hits a spear for 2. Deville lays in knee strikes, and Asuka counters into the Asuka lock, and Deville taps. Post-match, Carmella enters the ring and attacks Asuka with the belt shot and a super kick.
Dee, we have an update.
Mm-hmm.
The Capitals have won the Stanley Cup 4-3 over the Golden Knights. So congratulations to the city.
Fuck it up, DC. And when I say it, I mean the area, not where I live. Turn up. Oh, I know them white people are excited.
Oh, yeah. You need to turn on the news. I'm sure it's going to be crazy all night long.
Oh, I know. They are super hyped. I'm actually happy.
It's going to be happy they stayed open tonight.
Listen, they about to make all.
No, they already got the money. They already got it. Some
Yes.
company paid to keep it open late, so all
That
those
was
people could
smart. I
come
don't
in.
even know why they needed that. Like, do you see all the way that these people are obsessed? Like,
It's
they all
been
came down to stand at Capitol at, what's it called? Capital One Arena. Ugh.
Capital One Arena. Yeah,
Ugh, the name.
it's been since 1991 since
We
DC's
are
won
not a winning team.
anything.
We don't win. We like the bad news bears out this bitch. Oh my God. I'm so happy for them. But again, not where I live. Thank you. So yeah, that happened. Then backstage,
Hold on.
Okay.
Before, sorry, I broke in. But the one thing I did want to say,
Oh yeah. About
Carmella was awful on commentary.
yeah.
But when she jumped up on that damn desk and did that moonwalk, I was like, oh shit now.
All together.
I was like, yeah, I can get with that.
Yeah, she has flashes of brilliance. That one, like, mm, she's getting there. Okay, so New Day meet with Miz and apologize for being jerks. They are taking Money in the Bank very seriously because Miz gave them a reality check. They want Miz to draw a name out of a hat to choose who will compete in Money in the Bank. Miz gets blindfolded and they switch the hat to a hat filled with pancake batter. Miz is not amused. I am, though.
um, I know. Did you see this? Did you watch it?
Mm, I had it on, but I actually didn't see that part.
Oh well, okay. I can't even ask you about it then.
What?
Big
Maybe I saw
E,
it.
Big E, and his O face.
No, I didn't see that part. I heard you talk about it on the Twitters. I didn't see that part. I don't know what I. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was making pizza. Yeah, that's what I was doing. It's a valid distraction, I think. Anyway.
Oh, distraction. Been
Oh.
waiting all show for that.
Mhm. Personal distractions count too. Okay, so Harper versus Carl Anderson. Luke Harper attacks at the bell and starts the ass kicking right away. Harper follows with big rights and chops and then rakes at the eyes. The boss man slam follows. Anderson starts to fight back and gets a roll up for the flash pin. Oh, they won. Well, look at
Mm-hmm.
that.
And that's the last time they're gonna win.
But they win. So backstage, Naomi and Jimmy in matching shirts cut a promo on tonight's match with Lana and Aiden English. Now, if you notice, Jimmy's shirt is not the regular day one-ish shirt. It's like Texas something 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 day one-ish. So it's like, what's it called? Personalized for the city. Almost
Yeah.
like when they did what's it called? Suplex City. And
Yep.
they yeah. So
I
kind of
hope
like
that I hope that catches on.
it'd be nice. Because it especially now that DC's a winner. I might but I'm not DC since day one. I'm like DC since like 2014. It's a little different. Anyway, Naomi and Jimmy versus Lana and Aiden. Jimmy Uso runs wild and hits the Samoan clam bake. Oh, for two as Lana makes the save. Lana slaps Jimmy and Naomi takes Lana out. Aiden attacks and mocks Uso before Naomi wipes him out with a high cross. Uso hits the super kick to the throat of Aiden for the win. Naomi is a star. Okay.
Oh, man, I'm glad Aiden English caught her though. She was on her way to Sasha Banks and herself.
Yeah,
Well,
she
she had
did
to
look.
grab him a little bit though.
Yeah, she
She
was. She
reached
was
out.
overextended. She knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's this gonna do to Rusev Day and Lana Day? They kicked that man in the throat, the vocal cords.
I mean, I guess he could still sing "Lana is the best. Lana's number one."
That's not quite catching on as Rusev Day did, but it's very catchy to me though.
I like them both. My vocals really can only stand the Lana song. I can't give you, Yeah, it's kind of beyond me. I went on a little road trip to Roots Picnic last week, and while we were driving, I told my friend, I was like, I think the reason why I like Rihanna more than Beyonce is that her vocals don't challenge me as much, and that is what I feel with Rusev Day versus Lana's is the best. Lana's number one. Like it's just easy. Sometimes you need your sing-alongs to be in a reachable key. They thought it through. I appreciate the thought.
says everything for inclusion.
I'm saying all vocals matter. Thank you. Okay, so next is the AJ Styles versus Nakamura contract signing. Paige is overseeing the proceedings, which are taking place backstage, not in the ring like they normally would. AJ tells Nakamura that they have been at war forever, and AJ understands why. He says Nakamura can't beat him straight up. I don't know about all that. AJ says Nakamura can use all of his tricks, but AJ will walk out still WWE champion. Nakamura is amused by this. AJ signs the contract. Nakamura goes to sign and says his pen is out of ink because he is what? A troll. And asks AJ for his pen. He gets the pen. And then Nakamura claims it's broken. AJ's big mad. Dean Malenko held him back?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Dean Malenko. Call that a distraction, why don't you? Dean Malenko had to hold him back, and then AJ slaps Nakamura and says he's sick of the games. And Nakamura is like making... Nakamura reminds me of them fighting games where there was this one guy who did like karate drunken style or some shit. And that's what Nakamura always reminds me of, like some loose, drunk, like jelly face. Like the faces he pulls are very that to me. So he's making this little ouch face, and then he like pulls his own pen out of nowhere and signs the contract. I just wanted everybody to know Nakamura reminds me of a drunken old man from a fighting game.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
This reminded me of the Magnum TA Nikita Koloff signing from back in the day. You ever seen that? Old NWA Crockett?
That's a very good pull. Yeah. You got a point. Yeah.
They just didn't have quite as much physicality as they did that day. But that's exactly when it first started and they were backstage. I was like, oh, that's old school as fuck right here. I was like, what does it remind me of? I was like, oh, Magnum TA Nikita Koloff. It's like, this is pretty good. It's like you said, Didi, it's a different twist. It was, not in the ring, something new.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm tweeting you, actually. Hold, please. Okay. So, professionalism. Yes. Next is another women's match. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Charlotte heads up top and moonsaults, but she eats knees, and Lynch rolls up Charlotte for 2. Then Charlotte goes for the figure 8. She's at the figure 4, but Becky manages to counter into a disarmer. And what? Charlotte, what? Taps. Becky's a winner.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this.
Nobody was. Come through with a swerve, WWE. Nobody thought Becky was going to win. I know I Walk West is happy. Shout out to the kid. Dasha. Did not know that was Daisy. Daisy Fuentes interviews Samoa Joe. He cuts her off and says he proved himself by putting Brian to sleep last week. He climbed the ladder to send a message. He took what he wanted, and he felt every SmackDown star recoil when they realized that they saw the future. Then Renee interviews Big Cass. He talks about being tall, Daniel being little. He talks about being at Mania 30 and says he was behind Brian, who just won the title. He thought, seriously? This pathetic little man is champion? Ooh, I lost my place. Where did it go?
Brian.
Yes. Brian's win that night and at Backlash was an absolute fluke. Brian packs a big punch for a little man, but a good big man will always beat a good little man. Cass shows footage of Brian losing last week and his post-match attack. Cass almost feels bad for Brian, he says, but Brian asked to come back. Brian didn't know Cass would be back following him around. Daniel Bryan has never been in the ring with a man like Cass. Cass says he will dismantle Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank and embarrass him. He'll rip off Bryan's arms and beat him with them and snap his legs like twigs. Brian should take his ball and go home and be a family man. That's my line. And play a garden gnome on Total Bellas. That is so rude. Brian will realize that he's a pathetic little man and that he'll never survive in a big man's world. All of this is shit he really wanted to say to Enzo, but he didn't get the chance.
You know it.
This was another little touch of old school. There was up on like the platform, kind of like off to the side of the ramp, like old school, like me and Gene used to do back on like Superstars and Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. They trying to, work it. Somebody been watching the network.
Seeing good little touches that they can add in. I don't mind it. Okay, so Daisy has another interview. This time she's interviewing Sin Cara about Cien Almas. Sin Cara says they used to be like brothers, and Vega interrupts, and she's like, bitch, we don't know you. Really what she said is, she's the best thing to happen to Cien Almas, and that Sin Cara made him weak. Almas has requested a match with Sin Cara for next week, and then Cien Almas arrives and kicks Sin Cara's ass. I don't like this Latin on Latin violence. I don't know. I just feel like ICE is going to be called at any minute. Like, oh, the ethnics are fighting. I'm going to call ICE. What if they called ICE on a fucking wrestler? Oh my God. What if you were just like, hey, why don't I ever see Kalisto anymore?
Now, see, like, again, if this was Sin Cara from catering, they would do it now like that.
Done deal. Sin Cara from catering can whoop everybody's ass at the same damn time. Okay. So next is New Day versus Rusev, Miz, and Samoa Joe. Kofi takes out Rusev with an awesome looking trust fall, and Big E hits a suicide spear on Miz. Samoa Joe takes out Xavier with a coquina clutch, and Rusev takes out Kofi with a super kick. Miz gets pancakes and throws them at Joe and Rusev by accident. That counts as a distraction. Rusev wipes Miz out with a kick, and they bail on Miz. And then New Day hits the midnight hour and puts Miz away. There was a distraction. You heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the greatness of this trust fall that Kofi Kingston did, where he springboarded and it looked like he was going to go in the ring, but he just disappeared, and he's like, where'd he go? And realized, oh, he took out the man on the outside of the ring. I've never seen anybody do that before.
He didn't even say that for a pay-per-view.
Right.
Kofi's like, I got tricks. You can have some.
Well,
I still have more.
That's probably because he's not going to be in the pay-per-view, so he's not going to go ahead and get this off.
Who you think gonna be in there? Who you think gonna be in there, Big E?
Hashtag WWE Big E for WWE Champion. Yes.
Do we have to play Who You Got? Or is that next week?
Next week.
Next week.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
I already know I'm not picking Braun.
Okay.
His ass too big to be going up that ladder. I don't believe it.
Can't you want it?
I don't believe it. I'd be happy if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it. I think he can, but just like he didn't win Elimination Chamber, and he should have. I think they're all gonna like band together and get him out the paint, because that's the only way you're gonna survive the monster. I love him. Anyway, let's focus on. Oh no! I am so sorry. That is actually the end of my show. Yes. I have digressed. I did not end in a particular way. Yes. The New Day ended on top. And that is how your SmackDown ended for this week. And next, we have the NXT review, which I heard has a little treat for me.
Yes. Unfortunately, whoever runs the YouTube account for WWE was slacking because they did not put the opening segment on the YouTube. So I could not send this to you. So I'm going to have to advise you just watch like the first like 7 minutes of NXT if you got like some time in like the next hour or so before you go to bed.
Yeah, I do.
But anyway, Baszler has her championship back following the thievery by Nikki Cross last week. Shayna says that she's proved the harsh reality, and last week when she decimated Dakota Kai, that she's stronger, faster, and better. Last week, Nikki Cross got involved, and if she ever does it again, it will be the last thing she does. Cross arrives, and they both look ready to scrap. Baszler tells Nikki if she pulls a stunt like last week again, she'll make her pay because Shayna's the champion. Shayna calls Nikki whacked out and crazy. Baszler threatens to push Nikki to sleep. Nikki dares her to do it. Then Nikki jumps at Shayna and scares her. And then they begin to brawl. Nikki lays in the boots. Oh, she was doing the Stone Cold stomp a mud hole boots in the corner. But then Baszler lays Nikki out with a sneaky right hand. After that, Nikki then sends Nikki to the floor. But Nikki battles back and hits a high cross off the top, and then sends Baszler scurrying up the ramp and out of the arena. She had Baszler's lip busted open. Nikki Cross whooped that ass. Yeah.
Way up. I feel blessed.
Yeah. This was a Didi Jonay, like, oh my gosh. When you see this, you're going to be breaking out in a whoop that trick. I promise.
I'm going to stand for Nikki Cross.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
We had TM61 versus Jimmy and Johnny, boots and tights. Thorne cuts off Jimmy, and Thorne hits a Northern Lariat for the win. TM61 then cuts a post-match promo proclaiming that they are the best team in NXT. Then we get highlights of Lars Sullivan laying out Aleister Black from last week. We then see Lars killing these young boys at the NXT Performance Center. Man, you talking about, like, there's this thing where, like, they say lay your shit in, like when they're out wrestling in the crowd and shit, you know, make it real, like hit me. Man, Lars Sullivan was laying all of this shit into these dudes. Oh my god. Like, he gets this one dude right up in the camera and starts cross-facing him. It's like, it was almost hard to watch. Like, ooh, make it stop. Man, he was just decimating these dudes. We get Roderick Strong versus Danny Burch. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly arrive, but Oney Lorcan and Pete Dunne fight them off. Burch now locks on a crossface and Strong fights. Cole distracts the ref, and Burch takes Cole out, allowing Roderick Strong to hit the end of Heartache for the win. Pete Dunne then attacks Roderick Strong after the match, but the number game gets to him, and that leads to Strong and O'Reilly laying Pete Dunne out. Cassius Ohno is doing a photo shoot when EC3 arrives and interrupts. EC3 puts himself over, and Ohno threatens to knock him out. And then they set up a match for next week. Aleister Black comments via video package, discussing last week's clash with Lars Sullivan and their upcoming title match. Then we get one of the highlights of this show. We get a Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream video package, where Ricochet says he wasn't handed anything and worked hard for his opportunity, unlike the Velveteen Dream. Ricochet says, "What's the hardest thing Dream's ever been through?" He got eliminated from a reality TV show, and then they show Patrick Clark from Tough Enough.
Oh, shit.
Highlights. Then they flash back to the Dream, and the Dream goes, "I don't have any memory of that." Because he's the fucking best.
Not to my recollection, head ass.
Yes. This video package, they don't even need to be on the show next week. This video package did it all for them. This thing is so good. If they had more of these on the main roster, they could get away with far less matches and giving away all the good shit on the Raw. That's really not that good anymore because we see it too much.
Exactly.
But anyway, Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans. Kairi heads up top and hits a flying forearm for 2, and the armbar follows. Lacey Evans fights and escapes as she stacks up Kairi for a 2 count. Kairi Sane hits the Alabama Slam and heads up top. Kairi hits the Insane Elbow, and Kairi Sane gets the win.
Yay!
Oh, man, Lacey Evans was healing it up. Her finishing move is called the Women's Right, which is basically her, right hand, like a knockout punch.
Oh, I like that. That's cute.
And so she had her right hand taped up, and then on the tape it said Kari on it. And when the right before the match started, she like took her hand and like put it up against her chin.
Uh,
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
yeah, I like that.
Now it's time for hashtag Hill Life Supreme. Tommaso Ciampa gets a warm welcome from the NXT faithful and takes time to soak in their hate, which makes him stronger. Ciampa takes a seat on the turnbuckles and says the fans gave up on him long before he gave up on them. He says that he's disgusted by these fans. Ciampa says that he'll keep talking and they can shut up and listen or not. He doesn't care. Then he starts mocking their chants. Ciampa says to spare him their chants and runs down Gargano for always making it about him. Apparently, Johnny Wrestling wants to be Johnny Badass now. It's adorable considering he almost crippled his wife. The best part is that this is all on Gargano. He brought Candice out to the ring, and then Johnny attacked him, and he just defended himself. The truth just hurts. Ciampa says Johnny should have listened to his wife. It's all on Johnny. He tells Johnny, don't show up at TakeOver because the fairy tale is coming to an end. Your wife is broken, you will be broken, and Ciampa will win. Then Gargano arrives, and they brawl as security tries to separate them. Ciampa bails. While security is like holding Gargano in the ring, Ciampa's on the outside doing that wave that he does. But then Gargano hits a dive, and they brawl into the crowd as more security arrives. Gargano keeps attacking, and they get back into the ring. Security then pulls Johnny Gargano away, allowing Ciampa to attack him. Ciampa stomps the shit out of him and puts Johnny in the Gargano escape as referees drag him off. Ciampa does the evil wave again to close the show. But wait, Gargano escapes and he escapes the refs and he attacks again, repeatedly slamming Ciampa until the LED board busted him open. Gargano locks on the Gargano escape as the bloody Ciampa taps out. Oh, this was good. It was like the takeover. It was like, oh, it's over. But wait, there's more. And this time it was Johnny Gargano doing the ramming into the LED board, and all of a sudden it just busted Tommaso Ciampa open. It was good stuff, man.
Violence.
Yes. So NXT, the best product WWE produces with the best storyline, feud, whatever you want to call it, in all of wrestling, which is Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. Next Saturday night, it's all going to come to a head. So, Chicago Street Fight.
I can't wait.
So, before I turn it over to Miss Didi Jonay for her shout outs and thank yous for the New Japan crowd, there's a new cast of Strong Style that will be coming out. So, you guys check that out. And please use the hashtag Cast of Strong Style this Saturday when you guys check out Dominion, the main event, Kenny Omega versus Okada. 2 out of 3 falls. No time limit for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be a classic, folks. You're going to be seeing it all over your timeline on Saturday morning. So if you got New Japan World, wake up around 5, set an alarm, watch the main event, see it live, don't have it spoiled for you. It's a possibility they might go 90 minutes.
That is a long time.
Yes. It's going to be a spectacle. So again, Cast of Strong Style. Use the hashtag, follow the Twitter account, Cast Strong Style, and share your commentary on New Japan with Colin. So at this time, Ms. Didi Jonay, I'll open it up to you for your shout outs and thank yous.
Shout out to Mel because Mel always gets shout outs. Shout out to Sam and Greg. Shout out to Laura or Lola. And then I realized from last week, I don't really know what her name is because it says Lola on the recording, but it says Laura everywhere else. And I'm like, am I calling this girl the wrong name? Every time I say her name. I hope so, because that would be fucked up. Shout out to Jade, my favorite co-host. No shade. You're my other favorite co-host. Donald.
I understand.
Yeah. I said shout out to Mel. Shout out to the chairman. Cause he ain't the chairman no
He's
more.
still the chairman.
No, it's like he passed the baton to you and Jeremy. Oh, is
It's
Jeremy the new chairman?
it's it's it's
Is
it's it's,
Jeremy Shane
it's not
McMahon
starting.
now?
It's not
Oh
starting.
my
It's not
god.
starting until the beginning of next month. So he's still the chairman.
Oh my god. But next month is Jeremy Shane McMahon. Are you Stephanie McMahon? Have I had it wrong this whole time, Donald? Oh my god. But yeah, shout out to him either way. Yeah. Shout out to Courtney for inviting me on our road trip to Philly to see Roots Picnic. Shout out to Roots Picnic, even though that bitch got rained out like shit. Like torrential rains, like flooding. Like I didn't see no 2 Chainz. I didn't see no Brandy. I didn't see no Roots, but that's okay. It's not your fault. Mother Nature had other plans. Shout out to y'all anyway. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Oh wait, and shout out to the Capitals. Who's a winner? Yes.
I'd like to give a shout out to Sam and Greg for joining us tonight. Give a shout out to my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Edie Jonet. Give a shout out to the chairman still, Mr. Classic Materia. Give a shout out to everybody here on the CSPN, all the people who put in all the hard work to provide the content each and every week throughout all the podcasts and all the shows. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Ladies Night co-host, Miss J to the Max, and the special guest, Miss Laura Singh. Great show, ladies. Lots of entertainment as always. Lots of laughs, lots of shade. I enjoyed myself in the production booth. I give a shout out to everybody who was in the Raw cast and SmackDown Matters and NXT cast this week. Share the hashtags, retweet the hashtags. Let your friends know about him, that we are talking wrestling over here at the WrassleCast. Share comments with color. And I think that's it. Dee Dee, did you happen to peep in on any pop this Thursday?
Pop.
Impact.
No. Drag Race came back on, so I didn't see it. I saw it last week.
Yeah. I remember you're making some.
It's really
telling me
odd.
about that. Yeah, that you didn't know what was going on pre-show. So I just wanted to know if you maybe had kind of.
It's very weird. I don't think I've recovered from the dead bride angle. Like, oh my God, Carl Anderson said he has a hot Asian wife. Like, does he mean her? Like, what the fuck?
So, on that note, this has been my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Dee Dee Jonet, for our Rawcast correspondent, Miss Samuel Kalunga, for our WrassleCast broadcast journalist, Mr. Magnum Prime. I'm Don Delarente, and this has been episode 188 of the WrassleCast. Please stay tuned for the part